This lesson is on factoring quartics in the form of ax to the fourth plus bx squared plus c. Some of them will be in a different form than that, as you can see by the examples. So go ahead, read, especially those common mistakes, look at those examples, and then let's try the 2 you tries at the bottom. If you think you can do them on your own, go ahead and try, and then continue the video when you're ready. All right, so this is the first place that we're going to talk about this idea of substitution. And they use the variable u because we don't usually use the letter u. So you probably, okay, so our first example down here, we used the u idea. So first they did it by just regular AC grouping, and they didn't show you the steps. And then they did it by substitution, okay? So this would have been an AC grouping or by substitution. The same with all of these. So it's really important that you pick a method and you stick with it. I like the idea of substitution. It can be very helpful when things are difficult. It can also be hard to learn, okay? So we'll go through both ways with these 2 examples, all right? So in the first one, your middle term is x squared. Your first term is x to the fourth, okay? So x squared times x squared is x to the fourth, right? So if I'm not using substitution, this is just a regular trinomial where a is 1. So we classify this as the easy kind. So I'm just making 2 parentheses, x squared and x squared. What multiplies to 36 and adds to 5? So you should be saying 9 and 4. Because I need a positive 5, it's a positive 9 and a negative 4. Uh-oh. X squared minus 4 is a difference of 2 perfect squares. This is not a difference, so it cannot be factored. It's also not a cube, so okay. It's prime, I keep it that way. So I make my 2 sets of parentheses. How do I get x squared? X and x. One's a plus, one's a minus. Perfect square of 4 is 2. Done. Substitution. Well, what am I going to substitute for? Well, if you look at all the examples, whatever the middle term is, that's what you're substituting. So I'm going to say u equals x squared. So that means this is u squared, because x squared squared is x to the fourth. Excuse me. So this is u squared plus 5u minus 36. Sorry. Basic trinomial from lots of lessons ago. So what multiplies and what adds? So it should be the same idea. So how do you get u squared? U and u. 9 and 4. We need a positive 9 and a negative 4. If you leave it like this, you are going to get 0 points. You must do the substitution back in. So x squared plus 9 and x squared minus 4. Because you're not going to see that difference of 2 perfect squares if you don't substitute back in. So again, we can't factor the first one. We can factor the second one. All right. Excuse me. All right, let's try this next one. So now we have x to the 8th and x to the 4th. So this works whenever you have an even power first and half of it in the middle, okay? So how do I get x to the 8th? The good news is this is not AC grouping. This is the easy kind of trinomial. So x to the 4th times x to the 4th is x to the 8th. What multiplies to 18 and adds to negative 7? You should be saying negative 9 and positive 2. Oh, the bad news again. This is a perfect square. So x squared and x squared. Perfect square of 9 is 3 and 3. One's a plus, one's a minus. Those are not difference of 2 perfect squares, so I'm done with those. And this last one is prime. All right, and our last one. So if we use substitution again, we're going to use that middle term. So u is x to the fourth. So x to the fourth squared, because when you raise a power to a power, you multiply, is x to the eighth. So we're going to say u squared minus 7u minus 18. What multiplies to give you 18 and adds to give you 7? Again, still 9 and 2, negative 9, positive 2. You have to substitute back, so we have x to the fourth minus 9 and x to the fourth plus 2. That last factor is prime, so the first one is not, so x squared minus 3, x squared plus 3, x to the fourth plus 2. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.